All right, guys. Now this is going to officially start the training part of our call. Okay. And as you can see, the subject is overcoming objections for dummies. Okay. Now, I'm not insinuating anybody's a dummy on this call. Okay. I just thought it was a funny topic. I thought it was a funny way uh, to put it on there because when you go to the bookstore, you see like all these like taxes for dummies and all these different things for dummies. So I found this on the internet. I thought I would just inject this and let's have some fun with it, man. Overcoming objections for dummies. Um, and I think the easiest way to overcome objections is really to kind of simplify it. I think a lot of times agents are like, how do I overcome this objection? And what if I get this objection? And what if I get this objection? I'm going to kind of teach you a method where I think you could kind of narrow it down just to one thing, just to have like one go-to rebuttal for 99% of your objections. And let me clarify this. We're mainly going to be covering objections door knocking or over the phone, because I know a lot of agents are they're calling, they're prospecting their leads on the phone. Now, granted, at the end of the day, we're huge advocates of door knocking. We believe door knocking is the best way to get in front of clients, but also we're telling you too is that, man, it's important to get good on the phone. The phone's an important tool. You may not want to be out door knocking, 12 hours a day, every single day. Get on the phone, man. Utilize the phone. Because what's cool about the phone is that you can get on it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And in the wintertime, like here anyway, in Chicago, because we're on the east side of the central time zone. So like believe it or not, like Chicago in San Antonio and Houston, Texas, we're on the same time zone, even though we're probably over 1,000 miles apart, same time zone. What that means is it gets dark really early here. Like in the wintertime, like 4 o'clock, it's like pitch black. So you may not want to, in the winter, you may want to start, cutting your door knocking off earlier so you can get home 5:30 and get on the phones and start pounding the phones for the next day. So it's just a tip during the winter. Obviously in the summer, man, when it's staying light till 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9 o'clock at night, then man, that's a great opportunity to spend more time outdoors. Plus the weather is nice. But really overcoming objections, what are we trying to do? It's like this guy here standing here with the sledgehammer trying to bust through this wall. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bust through that objection. And the best way, the best technique that I've seen, that I've learned, that I've been taught, that I use, it's what I refer to. I don't know if anyone's ever put a name to it, but I'm going to put a name to it. We're going to call it the triple A method, the AAA method. Like the if your car breaks down, you call triple A, right? They come give you a tow or give you gas, jump your battery, whatever you need if you have a AAA. But we're gonna steal this acronym and we're gonna insert what our technique is going to be, which is when you get an objection, you're going to always agree with the client. That's important. We're going to give you some examples. Then we're going to answer their objection. And then we want to come back and we want to ask another question. So it's agree, answer, and ask. Now, at the end of the day, what we have to look at is what is so powerful about the leads that they're working. Jimmy, wouldn't you agree with direct mail? The biggest thing, the reason why agents love direct mail is because the client actually put pen to paper and then they solicited us basically. Like they requested the information.
Exactly.
So So the easiest way to overcome objection is to simply just always go back to the lead. I didn't write down a bunch of objections, but man, we could rattle off, you know, probably a million of them. Jimmy, what are some of the most common objections that we would get over the phone, or even at the door?
I thought they were gonna send something in the mail.
Yeah. How about another one?
Um,
I'm too busy.
yeah, those are
Not
more like,
interested.
yeah.
I mean, there's a million of them. But what I'd like for us to do is that at the end of the day, and let me find it real quick. I've got an image of a lead here. Let me get to it. Okay. Guys, this is what a sample of a direct mail lead looks like. If you're between the ages of 50 and 85, the federal government provides funeral expenses benefits many seniors living today are not aware of that they qualify for. However, these benefits are thousands of dollars below the expenses of today's funerals, estimated by the National Funeral Directors Association between 7 and 10,000. Your family is responsible for the unpaid balance, and just talks about thousands of seniors are applying for the new state regulated life insurance program. That's the lead. Okay, so that's the most powerful part of it. So what I'm saying here is that you don't have to be super creative when it comes to overcoming objections. You don't have to know, well, how do I overcome? They said, can you just mail me something? I'm not interested. Can you call me back later? I'm going to give you just one objection, or one rebuttal, I should say, one rebuttal to handle most of this. Now, we covered this in Dallas, and I thought it went over very, very well. So I said to myself, well, let's cover it again. So, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and just give me one of those rebuttals? Like, I'm going to start in on my phone script, and in fact, let's do that, guys. Let's get to the phone script. This is our new and improved phone script. Jimmy, I'm going to ring you up.
Okay.
How we're doing on time. So you have to be somewhere at 11, or you can stay on till 11.
Well, I have a client coming to meet me at 11. So
Okay,
here
so
at the office. Yeah.
okay, got it. So I'm going to call Jimmy, and I'm just going to do ring, ring, ring. Jimmy's going to say hello. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Jimmy, this is Joe with Senior Benefits for Bexar County right here in Texas. And the reason why I was calling you is you had recently filled out a form that we mailed you that was talking about the new state regulated programs to pay final expenses. And Jimmy, it's my job to make sure we get you the information in which you requested. Is it better for me to drop the information off in the morning, or is the afternoon better?
Oh, I thought they were just gonna mail me something.
Jimmy, I can certainly appreciate that. And I tell you what, I agree with you. It certainly would make my job a whole lot easier. But since you did mail the form in requesting the information, Jimmy, it's just my job to get that information to you, to deliver it in person. Obviously, what you do with it is totally up to you. Now, Jimmy, is it better for me to stop by tomorrow morning, or would later in the afternoon be better?
Probably in the morning.
In the morning? Okay. And Jimmy, when you say mornings, is 8:45 okay, or do you need something a little bit later?
How about 8 o'clock?
I can certainly do 8 o'clock. Jimmy, do me a favor, just grab a pen and paper. I'm going to get you to write some important information down. Okay, so guys, he booked the appointment. So my point is handling objections over the phone. I'm not going to try to be super creative and come up with a rebuttal for a gazillion different ones. Oh, can you call me back later? I need to talk to my kids, or whatever crazy excuse they give you. I'm simply going to go back in focus on the fact that Jimmy filled the form out. Jimmy, give me another objection. Let's put let's put it to the test and see if it works. We may have to get a little creative.
Well, I just don't like salespeople coming over. I don't know who you are. Can you just give me this information over the phone?
That's a good one. Hey, Jimmy, I agree with you. In fact, I don't like people coming to my house either. Um, but at the end of the day, the reason, like I said, Jimmy, let me back up. The reason why I was calling you is because we mailed you a form and you took the time to fill it out. Jimmy, I'm just required to get this information to you. And honestly, what you do with it is totally up to you. My job is just to show you how the programs work, answer all your questions, and get out of your hair. Fair enough.
Fair enough.
So should I can swing by tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock, or something later in the day would work better.
Maybe something later in the day.
Later in the day. Okay. So yeah, I might, and a guy like that, Jimmy, that says, well, I don't like anybody coming to my house or whatever. Well, depending on what time of year it is, obviously, like right now in Chicago, I wouldn't suggest this, but in the summertime, no, no problem, sir. I totally agree. In fact, I'm kind of like you are. I don't like strangers in my house either. But since you did fill the form out and mail it back to us, I am just required to get you the information in which you requested. Obviously, Jimmy, what you do with it is totally up to you, but I am required to deliver it to you. In fact, I don't even have to come to the house. We can have a conversation on the porch. Is it better? Can I drop the information off tomorrow around 9, or would something later in the day work better?
9 o'clock is good.
9 o'clock. So, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be a little bit creative. Now, obviously, once I go there and I'm on, like, well, Joe, you're just saying you're going to drop it off. You won't even get in the house. Dude, I'll get in the house. I mean, or maybe the guy's a pat rack and he doesn't want me in the house, man. I'll write the deal right there on his front porch or on his trash can, or we'll get in my car, where it's nice and toasty. I mean, I've written in the wintertime, I've written plenty of deals right there in the front seat of my car, done a flip chart presentation and everything, so you got to be, a little bit creative. It doesn't always have to be, scripted, or that your presentation doesn't always have to be perfect, man. Sometimes you got to be creative, man. You got to be able to overcome and adapt with your surroundings. How about let me flip to the let me flip to our, and guys, that is our door knock script. Um, it is available. I recently just made a quick revision to it, and that is right here where it's talking about the new state regulated programs to pay for final expenses, and it's my job to make sure we get you the information you requested. Is it better for me to drop the information off in the morning, or is the afternoon better? I like just getting just like right to the point, man, right to the point. This way, when you're getting to the point, obviously you're talking about dropping information off. They're certainly not going to get you confused with a telemarketer. And then the door knock script. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why I like door knocking is because telemarketers don't door knock, man. This is how you're going to separate yourself from the competition. There's a bunch of lazy salesmen out there that don't want to get out of their house. Oh, I don't want to waste my gas. I don't want to do this. And they sit on the phone and they make calls, and they complain about, people hanging up on them, and they burn through leads, and no one's answering the phone. That's why you got to do both, man. You can't be one dimensional. So here's the simplest, most straightforward and effective door knock script I've ever seen. So Jimmy, I'm going to lay this script on you. I'm going to knock on your door. I'm going to do all the right things. I'm going to step back. I'm going to give you plenty of breathing room so you can come out. Jimmy comes out, and I say, "Hi, Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah.
My name's Joe Johnson. I'm the state licensed agent who oversees your area. I'm here today because you recently sent us this card in the mail. While I'm doing that, I'm handing Jimmy the card that he mailed out. I may even hand him my whole clipboard with a bunch of leads on there. The point is, I'm going to show him the card so he's physically holding it. He's looking at it, and then I'm going to say, Jimmy, you've qualified for these benefits. I'm here to ensure we complete the enrollment process. It only takes a few minutes. May I come in? And he's
Sure.
going to invite me in. Now, he may give me some rebuttals. At the door, what are some common rebuttals that we get, Jimmy?
Oh, what is this about?
That's a good one, guys. We can use the same thing. Now, typically when someone says, what's this about? I'll go to my old standby, my old favorite, and that is I'm going to say, Jimmy, I'm glad you asked me that question because it's really important. In fact, I've been doing this for a long time. And here's what I can tell you, Jimmy, is that most of the people that mail this card back in for information tell me that their main concern is they just want to make sure is that when they do pass away, they're not leaving their family with a financial burden. Was that your concern?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, I'm using the same technique. I'm not reflecting back to the card. I'm agreeing with Jimmy. I'm answering his question, and then I'm asking a question. So I'm agreeing. I said, Jimmy, I'm glad you asked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is important. I answered the question, and then I asked the question. Was that your concern? He says yes. Jimmy, I have a few minutes now. It only takes a few minutes. Is now a good time, or do you want me to stop by later around 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon?
Oh,
I'm
now's a
asking.
good time. It's a good time right now.
I'm asking another question. What are some of the other objections we may get at the door?
I don't remember sending that in.
Got it. That's an easy one. Yeah, Jimmy, I hear you. I'm gonna agree with him. Jimmy, I hear you. I know I've probably filled out a few things in my life. I don't remember either. It was a few weeks ago, Jimmy. But Jimmy, since you did mail the form in requesting the information, it's just my job to get you the information which you requested. It only takes a few minutes. Is now a good time, or would you prefer me to stop by a little bit later today?
No, it's a good time right now.
Okay. So guys, I'm using the same thing. All I'm doing is I'm bouncing back. I'm reflecting back to the card. That's the power of direct mail. Let me see if let's see here. Give me 1 second here. I do see where Javier came in. See if I can get him in. Javier, are you available to speak?
I am, Jeff. Can you hear me clearly?
I'm here. I can hear you just fine, buddy. So how are we
Great.
doing here on overcoming objections? Is this helpful?
It is. The thing that I've learned from you two is, and just a lot of other, conference calls that I've listened to, is that most of the rebuttals that we get from the folks that we go to see are just smoke screens. And I think they're kind of knee-jerk reactions to somebody automatically thinking, who is this person? I don't know this person. I'm just going to shoot a couple of these out of my mouth real fast, and this will stop them dead in their tracks. But like you were saying, if you have some sort of without getting into too much detail, if you have some sort of a basic response and you agree with them that you're not really in any way trying to force your way in or force the topic, they quickly kind of realize that, you know what, that is right. I did feel something like that out. So, let's talk about it quickly. It's the truth.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know we covered this in Dallas. I really thought it was helpful. Hey, what I wanted you to talk about though is just your experience the other day, man. You had sent me, it was either a text or an email, but just talking about your experience. And I know you're doing this part time, so you're kind of on a limited schedule. But just tell me about the experience that you were having the other day, where you were out door knocking, and really hitting it hard, just weren't getting any results. And then tell us what happened there at the end.
Sure. So thanks again for taking a minute to put me on the call too, Joe.
Absolutely.
No, I've heard so many stories from conference calls that just keep pushing. We talk about being not waking up unemployed, I guess you could say, if I was to go through this full time, not if but when, I guess I should say. But you have to manage your schedule, and nobody's gonna be there to make sure that you work a full day. I mean, I can't right now. I can't go to my full time job and just leave halfway through, because the first part of the day just wasn't going my way. So the other day I had the full day off, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to dedicate it completely to door knocking. Went out, door knocked to quite a few people. Got in a couple houses that just wasn't making a lot of traction, and that happens. That's okay. And I know when to kind of cut your losses. And I remember calling my wife on the way to my the last set of folks I was going to go door knocking. I was just telling her, man, I'm just feeling kind of discouraged. I'm not really coming across anything, and it really kind of stinks because I've been pouring a lot into it today and nothing's happening. And her response to me was, well, hey, don't let it affect the way that you knock on the doors and you just talk to the people that you're going to go see there at the end. Sure enough, I ended up writing 3 applications at the very end of the day on the last door knock. So it kind of goes back to that thing where you can't beat the numbers, and the numbers can't beat you. If you fill your day with enough activity, you will be successful. You just have to keep doing it. You have to keep plugging away. And I think that's really the key to this business. Is it's not overly difficult in any way. It's a simple business, but it's not easy, because you have to be the one that's persistent and just keeps pushing through it. And if you can do that, I don't see how there's any way for you to fail. It's something you just have to keep pushing at. And sure enough, that appointment completely changed my day. It was, it went from being a ho-hum kind of day, what was me? No, nothing's happening, to, calling my wife saying, yeah, guess what? I just filled out 2 mutual Loma and a Transamerica at the very end of the day, and that was an awesome day. So I'll take it.
Isn't that the best feeling in the world? I mean, listen, man, we're helping folks out, but I'm just telling you, man, it's the best feeling in the world to when you write an application. That's why we do sales, man. It's like a high, man. It's better than drugs. Is making a sale, making money, helping out a family. And you're absolutely right, man. 99% of the objections we get, they're not even real objections. They're smoke screens. They're what'd you say? Knee-jerk reactions. They are. We're. It's human nature, man. We're programmed. You go to a car lot and the car salesman comes up. How you doing, folks? Can I help you? Oh, we're just looking. Of course you're just. But of course you're just looking. But you went there with intent. Nobody just goes to a car lot to waste time. In the back of your mind, even if you're not ready to buy, in the back of your mind, you're going there for a reason. Like, man, I want to see what that new Camaro looks like, or I want to see what that truck looks like. I want to go see, what's new. There is some type of intent when you go there, but it's just a knee-jerk reaction to say, hey, I'm just looking.
And to follow up with that, Drew, what I would say is, I feel like on the phone I'm comfortable, but I'm not effective. I could be much better at the phone. I feel like objections over the phone, for whatever reason, end up getting the better of me sometimes. But I know that you're a proponent of door knocking, and it's a whole different level when you see somebody eye to eye, because you can't hang up on somebody. As sometimes you never know what you're going to encounter. But I've never had the door slammed in my face. I've had folks say it's not the right time, blah blah blah, and a couple back and forth a little bit, and it end up maybe setting an appointment for later. But if you feel like what's holding you back is setting appointments, then go freaking knock the doors. Because I'm telling you, you will get in, you will practice, you will get better. But I love the John Wooden quote, nothing will work unless you do. Like you just have to believe in the system. Just be a professional copycat. All I'm doing is copying what what Joe and what Jimmy have done in the past and continue to do, because they have the recipe of success. You know, success leaves clues. You just got to keep doing it. And, you know, if you feel like one area is not working well for you, then that's the phones, and go door knock and just practice on the phones. And even if you go upside down on the phone call for a particular particular family you want to go see, go door knock them a couple days later. You'd be surprised. They probably don't even remember you called.
No, they definitely won't, guys. They won't remember. But door knocking should definitely be your first avenue for prospecting. Phone calls a second. I just give you an example how just effective door knocking is. I had a kid here the other day that knocked on my door. It was getting a little bit late. It was already dark. It must have been after 5 o'clock. But anyway, I looked through my window. I saw it was a young kid. I knew he was, he had a clipboard or something. I knew he was selling something. So anyway, he introduced himself. I think I recognized him. I think he had been at my house before. But anyway, what he was selling was the coupon booklets. Oh, here's this. I got this coupon booklet. It's only $20, and there's all this great value in here. But I'm doing it because I'm trying to get part of my tuition paid for a college. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, $20, no problem. I'll do it. And then at the end of his presentation, he goes, oh, by the way, you also get a free subscription to the Sun Times. I'm like, I don't want the paper, just like, but my point is that if he had called me on the phone, that conversation would have gone nowhere. You know what I mean? It would have gone nowhere. But he came to my house, sharp-looking kid, very presentable, trying to do something that's a good cause. Listen, man, I'll probably never use the coupon booklet. I certainly am not going to read the newspaper. It's going to go in the recycling bin every Sunday when I get it. But he door knocked me, and I had that face-to-face human contact, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it, so that just gives you an example of how powerful door knocking is. But Javier, while I got you on the phone, can't you see how just simplifying the overcoming objections and really just narrowing it back down to that one rebuttal is that, listen, I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care if you don't want it, if you're not interested. It doesn't matter. I got to do my job. And my job is to deliver the information in which you requested because you took the time to fill out a form. Now, we're not saying it like that. I'm getting, I'm like getting a little passionate here, but that's how driven you have to be. Guys, they filled out a freaking form. Our job is to do nothing more than to deliver the information they requested. And I think once you internalize that and you get it in your heart, it's pretty easy to overcome objections. It's easy because you're like, all the pressure's off. Folks, I understand. Listen, there's no sales pitch here. I'm not coming to your house to try to sell you something. My job is simply just to deliver the information in which you requested. Obviously, what you do with it, that's totally up to you, folks. I'm off the hook. I'm just required to get you the information. Now, Javier, would it be better? Can I drop it off in the morning around 8:30, 9 o'clock, or would later in the day be better? And I'm giving them an either or. Okay. Anything, Javier, that you would like to add or ask any questions while I have you on the phone?
Yeah, the main thing, you just said it right. I think you just need to. There's another quote that I really think that's fantastic. It's always practice simplicity with constant repetition. So
yeah.
Think about it. These folks that we've been speaking to, and it sound the rebuttal that we shoot over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe it's the first time they've heard it. So to them, to us, it sounds like we're a broken record. To them, it's the first time that we've spoken. So if we come across doing it in a very natural, way that's not contrived, and it's like it just comes off real smooth, then it sounds like you know what you're talking about, and it sounds like you're there to do business, and it sounds like you're there to help them out. But if you're fumbling all over yourself, that's when they have a little bit more doubt as far as how much you can actually help them. So no, Joe, I mean, everything you say is right. If you talk about if you really look back on the topics that it looks like we speak about on a regular basis as final expense agents, it's cyclical. We kind of cover the same things over and over and over and over, but it's just so we can master them. There's no need to try to reinvent some new way to do things if you know that there are folks in the industry right now that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars just rinsing and repeating and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. Just do that over and over and over. See enough people, see enough people, see enough people. And you know what? You're probably going to make more money than you've ever made in your life. So I have a feeling that that's really the recipe. The other thing like I'd like to add to, which you're a proponent of, Joe, and it's the fact that direct mail, I'm not going to say don't waste your time on B leads, because there's always a chance you can get out there and knock a B lead and make a sale. But if you really want to get moving, you have to invest. And you know what? You've got to invest in yourself. So investing in yourself means buying some A leads, going through them, getting your nose bloodied up a little bit because you're going to mess up some, but you know what? You're going to succeed some as well. So don't feel like you have to, be perfect from day one, because I'm still not. But somehow I've been able to go out there and scrape a handful of applications pretty easily from folks that end up just getting, having a good rapport with. So just get out there and do it. You cannot get stuck with that paralysis through analysis kind of thing. Don't get stuck doing that. You don't feel like you have to study for 5 months before you go out and do your first presentation. Just get out there and do it. Believe me, it will work.
It does work. And how much easier of a door knock script can you get? And I see agents that struggle the most are the ones that look at this script and are like, oh, this ain't going to work. I need to add something to it. And then they start going in and saying something like, hey, Mr. Johnson, I'm stopping by. You had filled this form out, and this is about the final expense, life insurance. And then the guy's like, life insurance? I already have life insurance. You just open up a whole can of worms. The script is talking about the card. It's the key. I'm here because you recently sent us this card in the mail. You've qualified for these benefits. I'm here to ensure we complete the enrollment process. May I come in? Keep it simple. I'm just telling you, boys and girls, it works. Let me see if Michael Mahalik sent me a text. See if he's available. Michael, are you on the line? I show you that you're unmuted. Let me find you. Hang on one second. Maybe you dropped off. Maybe you had a bad connection. Hang on one second, guys. Oh, these are all in alphabetical order. Nope, I think Mike had to drop off. But guys, I hope this is making sense. And Javier, are you still on?
Yes, I'm still on.
Yeah, stay on just for a minute, because I want, if you can, because I want to kind of talk about what you were just talking about, and that is the direct mail lead. Guys, I'm just telling you, man, there's just no better way of working final expense. I mean, direct mail is the king of leads. And, we get a lot of agents that are always, well, I say they're always thinking outside the box. They're really not thinking outside the box. What they're thinking about, and that's the image I have here. This is you in a box trying to think outside the box, is that they're really trying to figure out a way to grow a business without investing in it. Okay? It doesn't work. Businesses don't grow unless you invest in them, like what Javier was saying. It's, you're investing in yourself. It's advertising and marketing. I tell you this at the end of the day, man, the only way to make more sales is to get in front of more people that don't already know who you are. The more people that you get in front of that don't know who you are, the more people are going to know who you are. And you can start spreading your brand. That's how you get referrals. It's spreading your brand. You're spreading your brand. So a lot of agents, are thinking, well, have you tried this? What about doing seminars? What about cold calling, cold canvassing? Guys, here's what you got to think about. People have been doing life insurance sales for over 100 years. It was a big business back in, the I don't know about the late 1800s, but I know early 1900s, even throughout the Depression and after the Depression, 1920s, 30s, the life insurance has been big. Okay, the primary way of getting business 100 years ago was cold calling businesses, canvassing, getting referrals. So for you to say, well, let me think outside the box, you're thinking about things that people were doing 100 years ago. You're thinking at the bottom of the box. Now, Javier, are you still on? I want us to get into a time machine. Me and you are gonna get into a time machine, and we're gonna go back 50 years ago to the 1960s, maybe even 1950s. Okay, and we're colleagues at a life insurance company. We're selling life insurance, man, and we're door knocking. I mean, we are hitting the pavement, and we've been doing it for years. And we're looking at each other, and we're saying to ourselves, man, I'm just like, my feet are like, I'm tired, bro. There's got to be a better way. And then Javier, you say to me, you say, Joe, can you just imagine if there was a way that we could get a list? Like, if we could just get a list of people that fit our demographics, people between the ages of 50 and 85, and we could find out what their income ranges were. And can you imagine if we had a way we could just mail them letters talking about life insurance, and if they were interested, they would fill the form out and mail it back to us. And then every day we go to our mailbox or go to the post office, and there'd be letters in there. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be amazing? You think that would work?
I think it'll work.
Guys, do you see what I'm saying? Direct mail marketing is thinking outside the box. That's it. There was two guys sitting in an office a long time ago, and they said to themselves, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way of doing presentations, knocking on doors, going to businesses. There's got to be a better way.
And guys, think about it like in terms of a coach trying to coach a basketball team. They're going to set up a series of plays in order for them to beat the other team. So the coach is going to try to put those players in the best possible positions, and run the best possible plays in order to win the game. The way I've kind of always seen it, Joe, is that's the way that you and Jimmy have really just preached to us back and forth about. There are other ways to market and advertise, but they're not nearly as efficient. They're not nearly as effective. And I think as agents, the one thing you have to realize is like time is your most important asset. And if you waste your time just running and trying to find other ways to save a little bit of money here and save a little bit of money there, you may save a little bit of money, but you won't make anything. So you just have to bite the bullet and say, okay, realistically, what can I, if I had to put some towards marketing, towards advertising, towards a fresh day lead, I can't commit to 20 a week. That's not something I can do. But you know what can I do? Can I buy A minus? Can I buy A overflows? Can I purchase something to just get the engine started? And once you get a little momentum, it's like you say, Joe, it's easier to steer a car that's already moving as opposed to something that's just stationary. I'm telling you guys, Joe here's talking about a way that it does cost a little bit of money, but you've got to invest something. This is your business. So don't think about it like you're just, another guy out of the street. I mean, if you want to invest in your business, go for it. We've talked on a number of occasions about how much it really costs out of your pocket to open a restaurant, to open a salon, to open whatever franchise. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So if you talk about a couple hundred to get started, think about it. I mean, and the ability to have a return on your investment as quick as within a week, possibly. I mean, come on. So, we can sit here and talk all day about, seminars, but all that time you pour into the seminar to try to scrape out maybe 1 or 2 applications, pour that time and effort into, getting some A leads, going out and making some presentations. And you know what? If you really connect with somebody, chances are they know somebody, and you're likely going to get a referral from it too. So,
absolutely, dude.
The return on investment is enormous. I can tell you, as a restaurant guy, our return on investment at the end of the day is about 9 cents. So to put it in perspective, for every dollar that a guest comes and spends in the restaurant, if we have 9 cents, 10 cents that we actually take to the bank, that's fantastic. And comparatively speaking, for buying a lead for $30 and then getting a commission check later that week for $800 or whatever it is, I mean, there's no comparison. You just have to put in the effort. You have to put in the work.
Yeah, that's a very good point, man. This is one of the few businesses that you can start with very little overhead and just have huge returns of profit, 3, 4, 5, 600% return of investment. Let me see, if Mike, let me see if you are on now. You must have dialed in because I don't see you on the call. Okay, I know you're listening, but I can't unmute you unless you have the app downloaded on your phone. So, yeah, Javier, we're going to wrap things up, man. But your point on the other thing I just want to say about leads, and I didn't mean this to get into a big thing about leads. It was mainly I wanted to talk about covering objections. I think we did a good job on that. Is really to simplify and just understand, man, get it in your heart to know that your job is to deliver the information, is to make a presentation. That's it. And I think once that sinks in, it makes the whole process a whole lot easier. When I'm out making sales, I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm going to sell them, I'm going to sell them, I'm going to sell them. I'm thinking, no, I'm going to make a presentation. I'm going to educate them. I'm going to give them their rights and options of what they can do. And they're going to pick one. I'm going to help guide them to protect their family. Because at the end of the day, I know this is a hardworking couple, and I know they're good people, and I know that they don't want to pass away and leave their family with a financial burden. What person would want to do that? And if they're jerks and they don't care, if they got the attitude, well, when I'm dead, I don't care, that's their problem. I'm done with that. I did my job. I'm not going to get aggravated. I'm not going to insult the person. They're just an asshole. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to politely leave and move on. I'm going to get to the people that love their family because I love what I do. So the other point I want to make is just about leads, and Javier, you brought it up. I've got a saying, is that we're talking about coming up with money to invest in advertising or invest in marketing, is that, guys, I promise you, leads don't cost you money. It's not having leads that cost you money. You look at you. I promise you, the agents that are out there investing and getting, spending 4, 5, 6. We have agents that are spending almost 1,000 a week, 900 a week. That's 30 leads a week. Okay, I promise you, I could with almost 100% guarantee they have more money in the bank than you do if you're not investing. Why? Because they did whatever it takes, man. They did whatever it takes. I didn't have money when I got started in this business. My first lead order was $50. I got into an organization. I didn't even know you had to buy leads. They recruited me. I went and got my license. They said that they were going to provide me leads. That was the words that came out of their mouth. Joe, we will train you and we will provide you leads. I got my license. I called my upline manager. I said, all right, I'm ready for some leads. Well, how much money you got? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, leads aren't free. Well, you said you provide leads. Well, of course we provide leads, but not for free. I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, all right, I got $50. What did that get me? It got me nothing. $50 got me a cold call list of people that weren't even qualified, just raw data, stuff I could have got, leads I could have gotten for free. My point is that I very quickly figured out is that you gotta advertise, you've gotta market. And then that's when I first got introduced to direct mail marketing, which was back in 2009. The other point I want to make, and then we're going to end the call, and that is Javier made the comment about, hey, you just got to go do it. You don't have to be perfect. Guys, that's my point, man. You don't have to be perfect. Like your in-home presentation, your door knock script, the clients don't know the script. They don't know if you forgot a word or two. You just got to go do it. Like the Nike saying, just go do it. I was listening to a video the other day with Mark Cuban, I think is his name, the guy from Shark Tank and the super rich guy. I was kind of listening to his story, man, about when he was a kid, like 22 years old, living in an apartment with like 6 other guys and had no money, but he said he worked his butt off. I think he said he worked 7 days a week for 7 years. Never took a vacation, never came up for a breath of air. Just work. Ended up his first business sold for millions of dollars. Obviously the guy's super talented. One of the things that he said was, is this like you got to have the mentality of ready, fire, aim. Now we're taught normally it's ready, you aim, then you fire. Okay. He kind of reversed it. It's ready, fire, aim. And here's how that saying comes about. When I was in the military, in the Marine Corps, and M60 machine gunner, oftentimes we weren't trying to make the first shot, because we're shooting machine guns. We're not snipers. Okay, a sniper, that's different. You got one shot, one kill. You just got one shot. It has to be perfect. Okay. Shooting a machine gun, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get rounds going down range, because in a machine gun, every third round is a tracer bullet. What a tracer bullet is, it's got either magnesium or phosphate. It's got an element in the back of the bullet, and when the gunpowder hits that back of the bullet, pushes it through the barrel, it ignites that either they use magnesium or phosphorus. It glows, it lights up. So when you're shooting, you just need to, the point is you just need to get rounds down range, and then you can see those bullets. You can see exactly where they're going, and then you can move your weapon, you can move your machine gun until you get on target. It's similar with this business. is that you just need to start getting rounds down range. You need to go out and start door knocking, making phone calls, making presentations. Then we can make our windage and our elevation adjustment to eventually get you on target. But if you're sitting there and you're not even taking any shots and you're just adjusting your scope and you're trying to get the perfect shot, guys, it's not about that. We're not a sniper. Ours is about big activity. It's like that machine gunner. He just needs to get bullets down range. If you're shooting at a plane, if a plane's flying overhead, you're not just trying to make that one perfect shot. No, man, you want to get bullets up into the air, and then you can guide them into the plane to shoot it down. That's what we have to do. It's much easier for me to coach someone that is having activity, because until you have activity, everything's hypothetical. And I gotta be honest, it drives me crazy when agents call me like, well, what if I get this objection? What if I get this objection? What if I get this objection? You haven't even made a presentation yet. Go make some presentations. I want to coach you when you call me up and says, hey man, hey Joe, I was door knocking, I got this objection. I got this. I can work with that. It's much easier to work with real life scenarios than it is just a gazillion hypotheticals. We're not surgeons. We're not going in and doing brain surgery. We're not going to kill anybody. We just got to go out and have massive activity. That's how you get better. So with that, appreciate everybody being on the call today. I hope this was, we've hit our time mark. I hope this was encouraging. I hope that you learned a lot. I'm going to get this posted up on YouTube so you can watch it. And do it like what a lot of agents do. They'll take their phone and they'll connect it to their Bluetooth in their car, and they'll just listen to the different conference calls that we do. Kind of turn your vehicle into a rolling university, if you will. So with that, Javier, I don't know if you're still on, but appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being on the call. Jimmy, I know you had to run. Appreciate you, everything that you do, all the time and effort that you put in to the call. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. Call me if you need me. Take care.